Hello. Today I will tell you about 20 little-known facts from the life of the most famous vampire of all time. Enjoy watching. 20 little-known facts about Vlad the Impaler, known as the bloodthirsty Count Dracula. Vlad the Third, also known as Vlad the Impaler or simply Dracula, was a legendary military prince of Wallachia. He ruled the principality 3 times, in 1448, from 1456 to 1460 and in 1476. During the beginning of the Ottoman conquest of the Balkans, Dracula became a popular folklore character in many Eastern European countries due to his bloody battles and defense of Orthodox Christianity against the invading Ottomans. And at the same time, he is one of the most popular and bloody figures in the history of pop culture. The blood-chilling legends of Dracula are known to almost everyone. But what was the real Vlad the Impaler like? Fact 1. Small homeland. The real historical prototype of Dracula was Vlad the Third, Vlad the Impaler. He was born in Caesarea, Transylvania, in 1431. Today, a restaurant has been built at his former birthplace, which attracts thousands of tourists from all over the world every year. Fact 2. Order of the Dragon. Dracula's father was called Dracula, which means dragon. Also, according to other sources, he had the nickname Devil. He received a similar name because he belonged to the Order of the Dragon, which fought the Ottoman Empire. Third fact. The father was married to the Moldavian princess Vasilisa. Although nothing is known about Dracula's mother, it is assumed that his father was married to the Moldavian princess Vasilisa at the time. However, since Vlad II had several mistresses, no one knows who Dracula's real mother was. Fourth fact. Between two fires, Dracula lived in a time of constant war. Transylvania was located on the border of two great empires, the Ottoman and Austrian Habsburgs. As a young man, he was imprisoned, first by the Turks and later by the Hungarians. Dracula's father was killed, and his older brother Mircea was blinded with red-hot iron stakes and buried alive. These two facts greatly influenced how vile and vicious Vlad later became. Fifth fact. Constantine Palaiologos. It is believed that young Dracula spent some time in Constantinople in 1443 at the court of Constantine Palaiologos, a legendary character in Greek folklore and the last emperor of the Byzantine Empire. Some historians suggest that it was there that he developed his hatred of the Ottomans. Fact 6. Son and heir of Minya the Evil One. It is believed that Dracula was married twice. His first wife is unknown, although she may have been a Transylvanian noblewoman. She bore Vlad a son and heir, the evil Minya. Vlad married a second time after serving his prison sentence in Hungary. Dracula's second wife was Ilona Szilágyi, the daughter of a Hungarian nobleman. She bore him 2 sons, but neither of them became a ruler. Seventh fact. Nickname Teeps. The nickname Teeps, translated from Romanian, means piercer. It appeared 30 years after Vlad's death. Vlad the Third earned his nickname Teeps from the Romanian word stake because he killed thousands of Turks in a grisly manner, impalement. He learned about this execution as a teenager when he was a political hostage of the Ottoman Empire in Constantinople. Eighth fact. The worst enemy of the Ottoman Empire. It is believed that Dracula is responsible for the deaths of more than 100,000 people, most of them Turks. This made him the worst enemy of the Ottoman Empire. Ninth fact. 20,000 rotting corpses frightened the Sultan. In 1462, during the war between the Ottoman Empire and Dracula's Wallachia, Sultan Mehmed fled with his army, horrified by the sight of 20,000 rotting Turkish corpses impaled on stakes on the outskirts of Vlad's capital, Targovishte. During one battle, Dracula retreated into the nearby mountains, leaving behind him imprisoned prisoners. This forced the Turks to stop their pursuit, since the Sultan could not stand the stench of decaying corpses. 10th fact. The birth of a legend. Impaled corpses were usually displayed as a warning to others. At the same time, the corpses were white because the blood completely flowed out of the wound on the neck. This is where the legend came from that Vlad the Impaler was a vampire. 11th fact. Scorched earth tactics. Dracula also became known for the fact that during his retreat, he burned villages along the way and killed all the local residents. Such atrocities were committed so that the soldiers of the Ottoman army had no place to rest and so that there were no women whom they could rape. In an attempt to cleanse the streets of the Wallachian capital Targovishte, Dracula invited all the sick, vagabonds, and beggars to one of his houses under the pretext of a feast. At the end of the feast, Dracula left the house, locked it from the outside, and set it on fire. Fact 12. Dracula's head went to the Sultan. In 1476, 45-year-old Vlad was eventually captured and beheaded during the Turkish invasion. His head was brought to the Sultan, who put it on public display on the fence of his palace. 13th fact: remains of Dracula. It is believed that archaeologists who were searching for Snagov, a commune near Bucharest in 1931, found the remains of Dracula. The remains were transferred to the Historical Museum in Bucharest, but later they disappeared without a trace, leaving the secrets of the real Prince Dracula unanswered. 14th fact: Dracula was very religious. Despite his cruelty, Dracula was very religious and surrounded himself with priests and monks throughout his life. He founded 5 monasteries, and his family founded more than 50 monasteries over 150 years. He was initially praised by the Vatican for defending Christianity. However, the church subsequently expressed its disapproval of Dracula's brutal methods and ended its relationship with him. 15th fact: an enemy of Turkey and a friend of Russia. In Turkey, Dracula is considered a monstrous and vile ruler who executed his enemies in a painful way purely for his own pleasure. In Russia, many sources consider his actions to be justified. 16th fact: Transylvanian subculture. Dracula enjoyed enormous popularity in the second half of the 20th century. More than 200 films have been made starring Count Dracula, more than any other historical figure. At the center of this subculture is the legend of Transylvania, which has become almost synonymous with the land of vampires. 17th fact: Dracula and Ceausescu. Former Romanian President Nicolae Ceausescu used Dracula in his campaign. To be more precise, he referred to Vlad's patriotism in a speech to the Hungarians and other ethnic minorities in Transylvania. 18th fact: there are no vampires in Romania. Contrary to popular belief, vampires are not part of Romanian folklore, and the word does not even exist in the Romanian language. The word comes from the Serbian vampire. Fact 19. Like frogs. According to the book In Search of Dracula, Vlad had a very strange sense of humor. The book tells how his victims often twitched on the stakes like frogs. Vlad thought it was funny, and once said of his victims, "Oh, what great grace they show." 20th fact: fear and the golden cup. In order to prove how much the inhabitants of the principality feared him, Dracula placed a golden cup in the middle of the city square in Targovishte. He allowed people to drink from it, but the golden cup had to remain in its place at all times. Surprisingly, during the entire reign of Vlad, the golden cup was never touched, although 60,000 people lived in the city, most in conditions of extreme poverty. Well then, today we learned about 20 unknown facts from the life of Vlad Dracula. I hope you found it interesting. See you soon.